Hello and welcome, Silrace here, and it is finally time to talk about racial bonuses in Elder Scrolls Online. There is rumors and we are being told that the racial differences, bonuses don't make a difference in the end game. However, as long as you have racial bonuses in a game, people are going to be using them to fit whatever playstyle they want out of their character. For example, picking the race with a bonus to maximum health when they want to play a tank. Simple as that. Now I'm going to be using Skyrim to go through the races, and I have on the right side of the screen you can see quickly typed out text on what the racial bonus for that race is, and I'm going to talk through them. But before I start, let me first talk about the first one in every single race, and that is called Talent. That's how I decided to call them. They have slightly different variation of a name in the actual game and so on. Basically, for Algonian it is Restoration Talent. This means that the restoration staff, restoration skill, and whatever skill goes with the other races, such as light armor skill, medium armor skill, shield and one-handed weapon skill, any of these things, it goes up faster. As in, it levels faster. That, to me, is not a reason to pick a single race. Because eventually you will have that skill at maximum level if you are planning to use the skill anyways. It doesn't matter whether you do it a little quicker or a little slower, that is not the reason to pick a race. So let's talk about Argonian then. Argonian is all over the place. I am not at all happy. I was kind of sold on going Argonian. I like the race from the simple fact that it's a little different than the usual elves and humans you have in games. So Argonian, well, the restoration talent, I just mentioned about talents, and the fact that the restoration talent gives it the ability to be a healer. Swim speed is entirely and utterly useless. There is not much of swimming, and is there even any water in the freaking PvP area at all? I don't think so. And potion efficiency, potions being more effective when you drink them. If you don't drink a lot of potions, then what's the point in this freaking thingamajig at all? And also, that is so highly situational. Maximum HP is always nice, so there is that thing. And then you have poison and disease resistance bonuses, which are, well, two of the probably least useful resistances when it comes to PvP, at least from what I have seen. High-end PvE, cannot tell you. Healing received, this would be nice if you decided to play a tank and you were actually healer. Being healed instead of being a healer. But the restoration talent kind of contradicts this one as well. Like, you are good at healing others, but you want to be healed. Let's move on to the Breton. So Breton or however you want to pronounce it, basically everything here points to making a caster. And the fact that it also comes with the light armor as the, favorable skill to level faster, which is the caster armor, is kind of a nice bonus. But the fact that there is spell resistance, it makes this a possibility for a tank. And increased magicka is kinda helpful for everyone because of class abilities always using magicka. Whether you do maximum, magicka build, that is an entirely different point though. Reduced spell magicka costs though, I could entirely see this being a really workable race, for example as a two-handed Templar. Frontline melee with the spell resistance help to survive, especially in PvP. But most likely we are going to be seeing these as pure casters all over the place. Dunmer, or Dark Elves, whichever wording you prefer, well, they are always popular in every single game they appear in. So we are going to see them in every single role anyway, but let's talk about the bonuses. Now the dual wield talent here doesn't really mesh with the rest of the stuff, but well, you are not picking this race for the dual wield talent, and if you are, you're probably doing something really wonky or really wrong. Maximum Magicka and Stamina increases and another maximum Magicka increase. This is going to make a pretty good Destruction Mage right out of the gate. With that, the fire damage bonus is also pretty damn nice for that role. And then there is fire resistance, which is probably going to be quite nice to begin with. But also, you could argue this being a good race for making a Dragon Knight, since they do get a really nice set of fire damage abilities out of the class abilities as well. Altmer or High Elves, whichever way you prefer it, can you scream destruction damage dealing any harder? Even if you tried, I mean... Magicka regens, maximum Magicka increases, cold fire and shock damage bonuses, and it is even complemented with destruction staff, you know, talent to increase that skill faster. This is pretty much geared towards being a sorcerer or some sort of a ranged damage dealer from the back lines. But let's just say that with a single class it's kind of difficult to also take advantage of the entire range of cold fire and shock damage bonuses. Now this is where I want to wring someone's neck. Imperial, the race behind the paywall, behind the Imperial Edition pre-order. Well, shield talent, right? It's easier to make it as a tank. Maximum health increase, maximum stamina increase, basically geared towards melee, DPS and possibly being a tank. But look at the last bit, melee attacks restore health. This is the absolute insanity bit. I don't care how tiny, how small people will say that it will be. However, imagine a 1 versus 1 PvP situation, essentially a duel of some sort. If during the course of that fight you regain just enough HP that the enemy has to land 1 extra hit on you for you to be, you know, killed, then you are always 1 hit closer to actually winning that duel, simply because of a racial bonus. And how will that scale for the endgame PvE, raid con and whatnot? Because once you have passed certain threshold of HP, then you don't really exactly need more HP. You need enough health as a tank, as a melee DPS, that you don't randomly get one-shotted. And once you are past that point, you need more mitigation of some form, and being able to restore health by just beating on the boss as the tank, that seems really, really powerful. And I can't believe that they put this thing on the race behind the paywall. Now let's forget about the Imperial and talk about the cats, Khajiit, or whatever. I hear there is whole countries of them down south. Anyway, King of Stealth, can you say any more about this thing? Medium armor talent even meshes with it. HP regen, kinda nice always, not probably the biggest deals over here. However, stealth bonus. Simple bonus to your stealth level. And increase to your stealth damage, as in on the first hits the damage you do from stealth. Melee critical bonus and melee critical damage bonus. That is huge for any sort of a stealther to have. Because this is going to be the simple king of stealth. Why? You will hear once we get to the Wood Elf. Next in line, the race everyone is familiar with by now, because Skyrim was full of them, the Nords. Now, this is pretty good race for pretty much any single role out there. It has a very unique bonus as well. So two-handed talent, that is kinda nice if you wanna play around with two-handeds, but it's not a make or break for any race anyways, like I have mentioned. Health regen, tiny bonus on top of everything else. But cold resistance and maximum health increase. Maximum health helps everyone, absolutely everyone. And cold resistance, well, we will see how good that is, but it's just a straight up resistance. And then there is armor bonus, which is kind of curious because, well, it's the only race with armor bonus and can obviously function for every single role you want to play. So if you want to go middle ground and just have a race which can fit absolutely anything, then Nord is really good bet for it. Moving on to the Osima, or Orcs as they are more commonly known. Well, heavy armor talent, yeah, most people expected this to be here anyway, because Orcs are always in Orcish armors and stuff, and they are always heavy armors. Anyway, moving on. Maximum health and maximum stamina increase. Very, very much into the whole melee dingamajag, you know, with increases into the two things which every single melee will need. Health regen, another thing which will help if you are in thick of combat. But Orcs didn't quite get their Berserker rage here. Unless you count running faster being a, you know, Berserker rage. Because for some reason Orcs have a sprint speed and sprint cost reduction. So they sprint faster and they can sprint for a longer time, basically. I wouldn't call that being quite Berserk, but I guess it will do. At least it's unique, no one else has that. The Red Guard stuff is kind of expected because they have been really stamina focused and warrior focused in every single Elder Scrolls game to date. So they get stamina regeneration, maximum stamina increase. A shield talent I could probably have seen dual wield here as well, but it works, it's not a big deal. But the biggest deal is the last bit. Melee attacks restore stamina once per 3 seconds. So this obviously allows you to spam out more attacks because you will get back stamina as you beat things in melee, and this probably focuses this class on actually really being a melee, you know, class to actually take advantage of this racial ability. Can't do that when you are doing range damage since this is melee only. The main curious bit here is that it says once per 3 seconds, but the previous race which has similar ability had none of this time restriction. The Imperial is simply melee attacks restore health, none of this once per 3 seconds baseness. That is really interesting to me. Bosmer or Wood Elves, natural scouts, I mentioned them in my discussion of the Khajiit, and basically Wood Elves just don't compare. If you want to go full mode stealth to do stuff with the stealth, you go Khajiit, you don't go Wood Elf. The Archer talent is kinda nice and whatnot, it's pretty much the stable for Wood Elf race in every single Elder Scrolls game anyway. Stamina regen, maximum stamina increases are pretty good abilities. Then you have poison and disease resistances just like the Argonian. Those are stable for the Elder Scrolls series too. However, you have the stealth and stealth damage, which is the exact same as the Khajiit had. But you are missing out entirely on the whole crit and crit damage which the Khajiit has. So this is basically weaker version of the Khajiit when it comes to straight up racial bonuses, in all honesty. So if you are looking for a race and you specifically want stealth, you want to do full mode Nightblade stealth attacking, go Khajiit and forget about this Wood Elf baseness. Unfortunately so. So for the end, I decided to stick all of this information in a nice little table for you to simply, you know, process while I'm talking. Or you can always pause the video and read it through and then continue listening. Imperial on its own because it doesn't fit into any one alliance and they are split between the alliances, you know, you can read that, right? Anyway. If we are talking about efficiency and actually being effective with your race selection, Do not pick Wood Elf or Argonian. Those two need a buff. They need to be brought on par with the rest of the, races. Especially Wood Elf, because it's even in the same alliance with Khajiit. That just makes no sense whatsoever, because Wood Elf is just outright worse than the Khajiit. There is no real comparison between those two, to be all honest with you. Since you can now, with the whole Explorer pack and pre-order, having Explorer pack built into it, so take whichever race you want into whichever, alliance you want. It can be quite daunting not to pick the most effective race, such as if you wanna go stealth mode, you can probably pick your favorite Khajiit and take it to Ebonheart or Daggerfall. Just fine, especially if you pre-ordered. And probably somewhere down the line we can buy the Explorer pack and do it for funsies anyway, after the release of the game even. But yeah, there you have it. There is my thoughts on the racial bonuses for this game, and I overall have to say I am a little disappointed, especially staring still at that freaking Imperials bonus. That just pisses me off that it is on the Imperial race. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful and maybe clarified something out. And if you disagree with me entirely or whatever, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. Or if you have some information I'm completely missing out on, please let me know. As said, thank you very much for watching.